Tag Show.
The Mix Tag Show.
With Jenna and Blue.
Damn.
Now, here's your host, Jenna and Blue Magic.
What's going on? It's the Mix Tag Show with Jenna and Blue. Yay! Applause again. How was your week?
Eh.
What does that mean?
It was
Oh, you didn't do nothing special or nothing like that?
You know I didn't do anything special.
Oh, yeah. Sorry
Do
about
you
that.
care?
Yes, I care. I checked on you every day. Twice on Sunday.
It seemed like you forgot, though.
No.
You
I mean,
just asked me and
because,
you didn't do anything special.
you know, my
Obviously.
memory is weird. So,
No, it's just you're a forgetful person. No, I didn't do anything special. Blue, I was under the weather due to allergies and asthma. Thank you very, very much.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I sent you soup. Did you get it?
No.
I must have not sent it. It was in the text message.
That was disgusting. Okay, well, how was your week?
It was all right. I had my son this weekend, so we just chilled out. Took him to the music store. Teach him how to play, what was it? The Wheels on the Bus on the keyboard.
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
He got it, kind of.
Round and
I have a
round.
very smart son.
Yeah, well, probably didn't get it from me.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Especially his music ears. That's all me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good for you.
Are we still linking up on Saturday, or am I still
Are you
penciled in and you might race me later?
You are penciled in. Are you gonna come to
Why am I coming to the Queen? I came to Queens last time.
You're not working on a Saturday. I'm not work. I work and then I get out and then I have to drive to Jersey. Nah, kid.
I came to Queens last time.
Do you work on Saturdays?
No, but
Okay, but so what's the problem?
but
But what's the problem?
it's about balance.
Correct. But if I wasn't working on a Saturday, cool. I work on a Saturday. Plus, I gotta be up early, son. You people that don't work on Saturdays, oh look at me! I get to hang out Friday night, do whatever I want.
First, you
Then
don't come out on Sundays,
I don't. Sunday's early. It has to be Sunday early.
and then now you don't come out on Saturday. So come early Sunday. How about that?
Nope. I'm actually doing Peter A's podcast. Shout out to Peter A. I already told you that your memory sucks as well.
You didn't tell me that this week. You
Yes.
told me that like 2 months ago.
Well, I told you right before Evolution. You said, "Oh, cool." You
Right.
know, you give me one of those. Cool.
Again, that was 2 months ago.
So there's certain things you have to remember. If you told me, Jenna, I'm doing someone else's podcast. Oh, Blue, you doing a podcast this weekend, right? I'll make sure I pay attention because
I would have been wanting to remind you, like, hey, don't forget Sunday. Da-da-da.
you should you da-da-da.
Da-da-da.
You just don't
Da-da-da.
you just don't care about me. Let's go ahead,
All
continue with
right,
the show.
I'll stop checking on you when you're sick and stuff. And then
Well, if something happened, blame it on you.
anyway, nice shirt you got on.
Thank you. I told you I was continuing my support for the women.
I'm saving my women's shirts for next week.
You should have been wearing women all this month, but
It'd have been all Sasha.
well, we
And then I gotta-
we are
okay.
pro Sasha
I'd
Banks
have
here.
been- I have a few.
It has to
I
be.
have iconics, but I'll save that for next week.
Okay,
I was saving it for the show, like.
okay.
But
Well, because we only have one more show until Evolution.
yeah,
So-
and then actually might be our Halloween episode.
I don't think it's gonna be our Halloween episode.
Why? It's before Halloween.
Well, the week of Halloween.
It's the episode after Halloween. That's weird.
Is it weird, people? I don't think it's weird.
Ain't it weird to? We'll ask Miles. Miles, isn't it weird to have a Halloween episode the day after Halloween when everybody's not wearing costumes anymore? We're gonna be the only ones in costume. Thank you.
But you want to do something weird in general, so
Yeah, but it's after Halloween. You want to do it before Halloween so you can land before Halloween. After Halloween is kind of weird.
it's not really weird. I've seen plenty of people do it. Go to Halloween parties for that week or whatever.
It's excuses to wear costumes.
So what's wrong?
I don't know.
What's wrong?
I say we do it the Thursday
So
before
shout
Halloween.
out to the WWE shop for always lacing us. You have this undisputed era shirt that I'm waiting on mine. because I'm part of Undisputed.
No,
and
she's
I am
not.
wearing my
She's
name
not part of the text messaging.
when I'm. That's not Undisputed.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
It is Undisputed.
Undisputed is who performed yesterday at NXT.
I know, we in a text message.
Anyway, nope, they're not in the text message.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're not. Anyway, and
I'll
shout out to.
I'll show you who I'm hanging out with in Orlando when
That's
I go
fine.
back down there.
That's fine.
And then you tell me I'm not Undisputed.
Did you? Were you in the championship match or? Shout out to the
We
WWE
free
shop
birded.
for sending me
I'm part of
this
social.
Naomi shirt. I am wearing. Can I talk?
No, but you're trying to play me.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. You okay?
I'm Undisputed.
Delusional. Anyway, so I'm wearing this Naomi shirt. Shout out to the WWE shop. I'm rocking all nothing but women, son. Because someone got to put the women on.
You act like I don't.
No, I'm not saying you.
Oh.
Look at you.
Guys, you've been attacking me since the show started.
That's what I do.
So I gotta defend myself. I gotta be ready.
Well, you were wrong at this particular moment.
No, I'm not. I'm never wrong.
You're always
Even when
wrong.
I'm wrong, I'm right. When I'm right, I'm wrong. Because even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
That's a damn lie. Draft points.
Yeah, let's jump into these draft points right now.
Speaking of WWE shop, you people that love to purchase merchandise, make sure you go to our links on our YouTube description box. It is right there. When you click on the show, you will see the description right there. Please click on it the next time you want to purchase some merch because we are broke.
Broke.
Also, you can go
Broke
to
five,
our page at the Mixed Tag Show on all our social medias. The link will be provided there.
Yep.
Or if you just love following me or Blue Magic Grind, the link is also provided in our bio description. Please click on the link. You don't gotta type in WWE Shop. You just click, boom, two clicks. There you go. That's it. Instead of 2 clicks. Boom, boom.
And then pick your items.
That's it. So shout out to the WWE Shop for keeping us fly. You heard?
And her Instagram and Twitter is at Miss Jenna Baby BAYBEE.
And this.
You said mine's already, so I had to add yours.
I didn't say at Blue Magic Grind. I just called you Blue Magic Grind.
Magic?
Blue Magic Grind. Is that
you
not
said
your name?
Magic.
Magic.
Thank you.
That's what I said.
You said Magic.
Magic. It said magic.
Anyway, let's go into these draft points.
Don't correct me. You know, you get a knuckle sandwich.
What do you think this is? Recess?
Yes.
Anyway, shout out to TK Crew. He won this week with 204 points.
This is a close lead.
This is getting tight.
Real tight.
Because right after that, Petty Club Worldwide had 140 for the week.
I don't know what noise you were trying to do. But.
I actually hit one and fixed it.
Okay. Who's up next?
Knight Rider with 124.5. Knight Riders. 124.5.
Okay.
New Generation X with 105.
Yep.
Undisputed Nation Domination with 95.5.
Yep.
Rich Fam with 77. Excuse me. There was an update on the points. Evolution with 103. Mm-hmm. And then Rich Fam with 77. Damn, Rich Fam, I thought you'd have had something like you got the old timers came back.
Nothing.
They're not helping. They're not helping.
So who's in the current lead overall?
Overall, it's Petty Club Worldwide.
2 weeks in a row.
I thought it was this week, but she corrected me. Says 2 weeks in a row.
Correcting you. Who's up next?
With 1,672.5 points. In second place is Knight Riders with 1,639 points. And in third place, TK Crew with 1,620 points.
Tight three-way battle.
Yeah.
Wow.
And on the other half.
On the way.
Other half.
Right.
We have New Generation X with 1,123 points. And then after that, Undisputed Nation of Domination with 781 points. Evolution follows him with 766 points, coming in 6th place. And in 7th place right now is Rich Fam Kev with 447. So shout out to those that's playing the fantasy. Here's the drop button. Shout out to those.
I wasn't looking. I needed a tissue. Just because,
okay. My bad.
It's okay, but thank you.
So, yeah, shout out to those that's playing fantasy with us right now. The season ends after Royal Rumble, correct?
My man, Miles, always in the clutch.
It ends after Royal Rumble, correct?
I don't know.
Dang.
We're kind of far from that. We'll revisit like closer to December.
To it.
Yeah.
But no, it's a nice little three-way going on right now.
Yep.
Shout out to them.
Yep.
So let's jump into. You want to jump into your show?
You can do it. You can do it. You started. Remember, this is the odd shows. You can.
Oh well, I wanted to start off and talk about Nia Jax and Emma Moon defeating Dana Brooke and Tamina. Not so much because of the match.
Well, how random was Tamia showing up?
Right, because she's on SmackDown.
Correct.
So it was like
because WWE believes that we have like short-term memory. We don't know what's going on.
We don't pay attention to nothing. Nothing at all.
Nothing.
The reason I like to point this out because Tamina looked very strong. They finally gave her a little nudge and showed her positivity of like her strength.
Well, I mean, I think they were even doing that on SmackDown on the low before she got injured.
Right.
Remember when they had her pairing up with Lana, and Lana was like, I guess, quote unquote, trying to be her manager.
Right.
And then the whole welcoming committee thing and what have you. So I think there were always glimpses of them trying to show how strong she is. But
I think this was her best showing in a while.
Maybe because she got time to actually compete. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. Like, because I always said Tamina has the potential to be a dominant force if they give it to her. It's just that she's too rough with the other girls.
Well, maybe this is her and Nia are both, strong women, powerful women. So it'd be nice to see two. I would even like to see an individual feud, the family ties.
Right. That's what I say. Are they related or not? Because this is an argument like they're not, but they are.
Whatever.
It's like distance because
they're all related
somehow, some way.
Yeah.
We are related, all of us.
Okay.
Put it like that.
Okay.
But this was a teaser leading up to the Battle Royal. How do you feel about that?
Well, I was very annoyed when it was officially announced, even though we all knew that there was a Battle Royal coming. But it's just like, okay.
Yeah, but this time is a prize to it.
Yes, there is a prize. I mean, I guess we can talk about it a little bit later just because it's hot topics.
Right.
But, okay. We'll see how this pans out, right? But it still doesn't make me happy, because we're just throwing all the women there. I mean, I sound like a broken record. It's the same thing every week. But we've been wanting individual storylines and just potential, like, tag teams that made sense, and we're not getting that. So... whatever.
You just sound defeated right now.
I am defeated. I don't want to give up the good fight, but
I'm guessing this won't help either. It seems like they're gonna go towards a Natalya, Sasha, and Bayley versus Riot Squad.
You know how relieved I am, first of all, because
sorry.
Boss time!
Sasha Banks is back. Better than ever. Well, I don't know if she's better than ever, but she's back. She's been missed by quite a few of us, so that's always great.
She cured your
She
sure
for a
did.
While. She always does. Always does. The power of the boss. But anyway, no, in all seriousness, I'm so defeated when it comes to Evolution that I'm actually praying that is a six women tag team match at Evolution between the Riot Squad, Sasha, Bayley, and Natalya at this particular moment.
Why?
Because I don't want to see them in a battle royal, and I understand there's a stipulation,
right?
But let's be honest,
she's not winning.
Exactly. So I keep her away from that. Keep Bayley away from that. Yeah, keep even the Riot Squad away from that. Natalya, not so. I don't mind if she was in the battle royal, and there's no shade to her, but she's just one of those women superstars at that point that's just helping the talent and what have you, right? She might get a push here and there, but she's not the person that you think, she's going to be the face of the women's division or help prolong storylines and what have you. So,
well, to what you said, they're not promoted in the battle royal. They're not in the graphics or anything like that. So
they haven't. I mean, but there's quite a few people that haven't been announced yet, so you still don't know.
Yeah, but I'm praying like you are that it's a 6. The only thing is, I'm tired of seeing Bayley and Sasha going against the Riot Squad. Like, we had enough of that this summer, in my opinion.
Yeah, but remember the Bella Twins came out of nowhere and just took that from them. So I honestly wouldn't mind seeing a nice feud between the Riot Squad and Boston Hug Connection. If it, again, as long as you
it's end game,
you just push it right. As long as you push it right, and there's some type of a real good storyline or what have you. Like, for even example, like, we were happy, obviously, Sasha came back, but we were talking about, like, but it was whack, right? Because she got a pop, but it wasn't like a pop that you would typically expect for her, right? Because we talked about it, like, okay, you should have had her come out and save Bayley and Natalya as opposed to have her come accompany them in the beginning. So it's just different
things. It kills
things.
the vibe.
Exactly. So it's just different things that they could tweak, especially with the whole feud between all of them that we could really get behind. But what do I know? I'm just a mark.
And I think that they dropped the ball of potentially having Brie Bella versus Liv at Evolution. Like they played to it last week.
Yep.
And now this week we get nothing from it.
And again, it just goes back down to like, okay, well, we'll get into it when we get into the segment with the Bellas and.
But that's what I was going to lead into now. Is
good job.
Yeah, tie them all together. So part of the segment that happened was Ronda Rousey versus the Bellas on the mic.
Yes. I like this promo. I'm not gonna even front.
Yeah, Ronda kind of Don DeMarco the Bellas by herself.
But Nikki held her own too.
She did.
Brie, I was like.
No, Nikki does most of the talking. We all know that by now. But she did. She had her own, but it was like 3-0.
But Nikki,
it was a rebuttal every time.
I don't like. Yeah, but I think they both had each other because like a lot of people saying, okay, this has been said numerous of times by someone getting at Nikki, and shout out to Nikki for allowing
this to happen.
Because that's probably
it's
still
tough.
hurts, right?
It's still tough.
So, but that's just being an entertainer. Just the show continues, but Nikki she had made valid points, right? Because she, at the end of the day, again, we get on the whole divas era and all that and them, right? But she has a point when there's little girls that did watch the divas. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they wanted to be them or not, but Bellas has a legit following,
they
right?
do.
So she has a legitimate gripe on why it makes sense now. Like as the story starts to come together, it makes sense as to why those two would be beefing. Not necessarily that she gets a title shot, especially when Brie helped and Brie's been there the whole time. But it makes sense what they're doing, and then especially with Ronda being a powerhouse, and she did what she did in UFC, and that that's not what I'm about. I'm about kicking your ass. So when I see you guys doing the diva thing, makes me sick, which is what she said. So again, the story's coming together, and I'm on board for it. But like we mentioned last week, it could have been played out a little bit better.
Yeah. What was your favorite line between the two?
The whole John Cena, the bedroom
knocking
door.
on the door.
Oh my God! It's like, whoa!
Like, you let this happen?
I was just like watching it, like real engaged, and I was like, oh, that the
like
meme
making your name off your husband's name.
You know the meme when the guy's like,
right?
That's exactly my face. I was like, oh,
what is that from? I was trying to figure it out.
I don't know, but this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
I think what stood out to me was when Nikki went, "Oh, you just came out of nowhere, and got a title shot," and I'm like,
sis, you did too.
I'm just like, you know how that sideways look like.
You did too, ma.
Yeah, like, where'd you come from?
Exactly,
but yeah, there's definitely a good combo between the two. How do you feel right now with the Shield and War of Dogs?
Well, we're gonna talk about. We're still talking about this. Okay. It's nothing for me to really go into. It's the same thing. I was like, yo, we're doing this match again. Obviously, we saw. I don't know if Drew turned, but it could be just a situation that he's fed up because at the end of the day, Dolph and Drew are still tag team champions. But I have no opinion. I
need a snore button because now it goes back to what I said.
Well, we can do this.
This goes back to what I said for the past few weeks. You have the Universal title, tag team titles, and an IC title all tied up in one storyline. Yeah. So now you're teasing breaking up the tag team. The IC champion is in the World Cup tournament, so that's not going to get defended.
So it's not to interrupt, I apologize, but so what do we do? Like, this is obviously turning into a snooze fest, right?
Right.
How do we change it and have the audience engage back into it if you're party creative?
In this particular storyline or just any storyline?
This storyline. Because like you said, this is a snooze fest, right? So what do we do to change it?
At this point, I don't even know because
Vince comes to you. Blue. They're not liking it. We got to do something. What do you do?
I'll have Seth and Roman turn on Dean.
Okay.
I think that's the.
But why? What sense is that them two turning on Dean?
They don't need him anymore because War Dogs done imploded. That's like he came in for the save against Braun.
Okay.
So after this whole match happened with Braun,
honestly, that'd be a swerve because you're not expecting. We're also expecting Dean to turn, right?
That's what I'm saying. So after they defeat Braun, they hold off the War Dogs from helping him and Brock or whatever, whoever comes out on top.
Yeah.
We don't need you anymore, Dean. We got our titles.
Yeah.
You served your purpose. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. I like that idea.
And the War Dogs can figure out what I don't know. Drew's gonna be a contender regardless eventually.
Right. I like that idea.
What about you? What would you change?
I like it. I couldn't think of anything either. I know. What do you think? I honestly like the idea of we use you, Dean. You were always the weak link or something along those lines, and they turn their back on Dean. And not only does that help, that gives them heat. A lot of people want Seth to go back to being a heel, even though he's done a good job as face.
Right.
It took a while, but he
caught on.
He caught on. Roman, obviously, everybody wants him to be heel because whatever. It gives Dean that added push just because Dean was stale before he got injured, right?
Right.
So when he came back, everybody was like, he's going to be heel.
Mm-hmm.
So this just gives him another element of like that scrappy player that just doesn't give up, and someone always turns their back on him, but he still tries to fight the good fight and be there for people. And how do now he has to scratch and claw his way to the top just by himself.
And his moveset kind of changed from when he was doing that lunatic thing.
Yeah.
So I think this could really work this time if he goes face and like just be like with a chip on his shoulder kind of thing. My brother's turned on me again.
And maybe even a situation kind of pair up Drew and Dean, right? Just because I feel like Drew is the one that's essentially being used, right?
Right.
In their little crew. So maybe some way, somehow they link up.
They had that moment on Raw. There's like
right
when he said it to Drew, it's like maybe you being used in your group as well.
Exactly. So there's a storyline right there. Two guys being used and what have you. So I like that. To piggyback off what you said. I
don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about Raw because
But go ahead.
I just felt like they finally did some kind of with the mid card with Apollo and Elias. That was very interesting in my opinion.
First of all, I found. So what happens to Titus Worldwide? Because he came out to his own music. He didn't even come out to Titus Worldwide or Titus's theme. So are they done? And then you're right because Elias, as good as he is
on the mic,
he's not bad in the ring.
His moveset is weird.
Well, I mean, they don't really give him a chance to really go
because his moveset is weird.
Well, but if you give someone a chance to go and grow, you can see what someone has, right? I like the fact that it was boring because I find Apollo boring, but in Elias, as much as I like him, I feel. Because you're not doing anything with him. Right. It's the same thing every week, but you're not actually doing something with him. So we'll see. I'm kind of indifferent, but it's a good point to bring up.
I think they broke up Titus Worldwide when Dana left. Remember that? That's the last time they seen them together on Raw.
But that's stupid. If anything, you should have had Apollo and Titus go at it. That'd be something interesting.
Remember, I said that to turn on them. Like, I haven't won anything. You haven't done anything for me. Like,
have Apollo because of Apollo, that cookie cutter, like clean cut,
that smiling.
He's a buff dude. Let him be aggressive. He's never had an edge to him,
Well, he kind of showed it on Monday. He's like, I'm tired of waiting.
But he smiled. He was smiling through the whole thing. It's just like, be serious. You grew out your beard. Yeah, and something. Oh, I thought your thing came off. Anyway, you grew out your beard. You got that rough look. Let him be aggressive. He's brolic as AF.
Yeah.
So, but
is that the only mid-card storyline going on right now on Raw? Am I tripping?
I mean, you see you saw Tyler, had his little match with
that doesn't count.
Bobby. That's what I'm saying. Tyler could be someone in the mid card that you can utilize. And then even on Twitter, I don't know if you peeped, but he was just like something along the lines of, so at one point, I gotta get the exact words, but basically like, okay, so when exactly do you take your opportunity? And Cody actually responded. Yep. So I feel for Breeze too because he's a great worker, right?
Yo, I always vouch for him, He's such a great worker.
And everyone knows that he, like, in the locker room, and I hope fans would know that too. He's just a really, really good worker. But
Raw, how would you grade it?
We're not talking about Trish Lita.
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought actually did you want to talk about Elsa
I
Raw? You
know.
said no.
I know, but actually now I see that you have the segments. Really, it was nothing new to Trish and Alexa, so and Lita and James, Mickey James. Anyway, how would I rate Raw? Sasha saved it for me, so I think I actually gave it like a C minus. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna match a C minus, and the people gave it a C.
Cool.
You guys are very generous to the WWE.
But how we're around the same thing. It's not that C minus.
Right.
It's not that off.
Let's go over to SmackDown.
SmackDown 1000
SmackDown 1000. We kicked it off with Truth TV.
that we thought was canceled, but clearly
Right. Forget the writing. You know, he didn't lose that match.
Exactly.
Truth TV is back for one night only because it was a prominent role on SmackDown.
yes.
What did you feel about that opening segment with the McMahons?
Well, it was nice to see Shane again. Stephanie, I always like on the mic. It's nice to see Vince, but I'm not gonna give him too much credit.
Because you're not his friend right
I'm
now.
not happy with him right now.
You're not his friend.
No, which I know he could care less, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm not gonna sit there and mark out, especially when he's a big reason as to why the product is not entertaining to watch at this particular moment.
Especially with how he dropped the ball of Evolution.
Evolution, just in general. I was having this conversation with my friend, like, yo, and we've spoke about it.
Yeah.
Wrestling or watching WWE right now is not. It's not something.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not something we look forward to at this point anymore. So, I wasn't gonna sit there and mark out and be like, nah.
Can I be honest with you? When I watch WWE now, I watch it on my phone because
Yeah.
I'm playing FIFA on the TV.
Yeah,
So it's like in the background. Something major happens. I know I can look down and see what happens.
yeah.
But then other than that, I'm playing FIFA while it's in the background.
I'm still watching it on TV, but it's just like there was at one point there was an excitement, and this just reminds me of when I stopped watching the first time. A lot had to do with just my favorite, right?
Right.
Like we gravitate to people for a reason, right?
Yep.
So when The Rock left because he was shooting movies, I was like, I don't care anymore. I mean,
Right.
I'm a wrestling fan, but I really don't care. You
Right.
know, there's no one that's holding my attention. And the same thing now, right? Currently, in 2016, I was just like, what's going to happen next? Like, forget SmackDown. What's going to happen on Raw, you
Right.
know? Because my favorite was being utilized. And I'm pretty sure that's everyone with their own favorite, right?
Right.
It's just like, okay, I just want to see my favorite. And then, so in total, when the whole show is not good, it's just like,
You're wasting your time.
literally. So,
Well, after the Truth TV, it led to the AJ and Daniel Bryan versus the Usos. I thought that was like a very weird tag team match to happen.
I don't think it's weird just for the simple fact of they're both faces. So that's
Right.
what they kind of, that's the
All
their
four of them
MO.
are faces.
Not even about the Usos. The matches between Daniel Bryan and AJ. So if that's WWE's MO, when there's two faces or just someone that's getting ready to have a championship match, they'll always put them in a tag team.
Trying to create that friction.
Exactly. So that I don't think it was weird. It's just typical WWE writing. And it was nice to see the Usos because
Yeah, it
we
was
haven't seen
nice.
it in a million years.
Yeah, I'm cool with the Usos. Again, I just said it was weird because it was, again, out of nowhere. Why would you pick the Usos out of everybody? And then two, can we find another way to create fiction between two faces? Like have one person be a snob to the other or something like that? Like, yeah, I'm better than you.
But in what sense, how were you going to play that out? Has to be, they have to kind of just cross each other's path some way, somehow. By doing that, it would be having a match.
Playing Booker, I would never had Daniel Bryan admit on TV that, AJ Styles is the best person right now. And that's who I need to defeat, whatever have you. I would have AJ just start saying, like, I'm the best. I'm better than you. Like, you can't, like, have that chip on him. Like, you're champion. Talk your ish. And that's going to create the rift between him and Daniel Bryan. It's like a one-up thing. They each have their own separate matches. And it's like, look, I beat this person this fast.
But at one point, they have to come together and, like you said, have that friction. So if in the ring, like you said, one is going to snub each other or what have you, you can have one up each other in a tag team match. Like, oh, look what I can do. They have to come together some way, somehow, so it can create that. Because if you're going to have AJ in a random match, and then they'll show Daniel Bryan watching it backstage.
Not backstage. He could have been at ringside and trying to
it
help out. And
I
then AJ's like, yo, I don't need your help. I'm better than you. Like, just keep using that.
But
I'm
I
better
feel like
than you.
they've used that angle before.
Yeah, but they used this tag team one recently. So I'd rather use something that you haven't used down the line than something you used recently.
Yeah, I was okay with it, to be honest with you.
Miz and Rusev.
Oh, we're gonna go through the whole card?
No, we're not going through the whole card, but this is a World Cup match, and it happened in like 5 minutes. So,
okay. So in general, including with Rey Mysterio, how many Americans do we have in this USA Cup?
8.
Shade. Because I said USA, not World Cup.
And I tweeted this. I was like, not tweet. I put it on my Facebook in one of the groups. I'm like, so since this is like 8 Americans, can we change the name of the thing from World Cup to US Open? Like, this is what it basically is. It's a US Open.
So apparently the reason why we're having a World Cup, I forgot where I read it at, but essentially since Saudi Arabia did not get the World Cup in, what is it, 2020 or something? I don't know.
2022 or 26.
So whatever. I'm not too familiar with it, but they wanted to have their own with the WWE, but it's not looking like a World Cup. It's just looking like the USA Cup, but okay.
And again, this is not another 4 years. So why are you playing to it now?
I don't know. I really don't know. But it was nice to see Rey Mysterio come back, right?
Him and Nakamura had a very nice match.
They had a very nice match.
That was the first time ever those two was in the ring together.
I loved how the fans were like, "You still got it." Like, yeah, he still got it. Watch the other promotion.
I was thinking the same thing. Like
yeah,
I'm like, I don't watch nothing else. Like,
nah, he definitely still has it.
He just had a match like 2 weeks ago.
He's good. Like, he knows.
Yeah, like, come on.
Yeah.
We have new tag team champions.
Before we continue, I think Rey Mysterio, the 619 theme song is one of my favorites of all time.
Booyaka, booyaka.
Yeah, it's fire. And then just the whole Titantron just with his mask. I just think it's fire.
I just miss when he used to come through the stage, like, pop up.
Well, yeah, because budget cuts.
Out the sky. R-E-Y Mysterio.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And that was another good.
That might have to be Sunday's sing-along.
No.
Why?
Because this is women.
Oh, yeah.
You and your men dominated.
My bad.
I'm kidding. I was thinking about Rey Mysterio though afterwards, though, using it. Dead ass was thinking about it.
Yeah, like.
Bless you, sir.
But yeah, so we have new tag.
He's like, okay, thanks.
We have new tag team champions with the Bar beating the New Day.
Oh, you really want to go through the whole show?
No, but this is new tag team champions. Like, what do you want to do? Like, you gonna skip that there's new tag team champions?
Well, because you know, for the past couple of weeks, you've been like, oh, the Bar, it's someone else. Then now you want to talk about it?
It's the title change. You have to talk about title changes on SmackDown.
Do we?
Yeah, we have to.
Okay. What do you want to talk
about? Do you like it or not?
I don't care. I really don't. It's like you said, I don't dislike the Bar, but okay, so now we have the Bar. Who's the next? Who's gonna feud after that with them?
But they have the Big Show with them now. That's what I really wanted to bring up.
And on that note, what else happened on SmackDown?
The Evolution reunion. How did you feel about it?
That was dope. That was really dope. Even though they are not a Raw, they are not a SmackDown faction, thought it was nice to see.
It was. And even though Randy stayed in character.
Yes.
In his current character.
Yeah.
Triple H, you can see Triple H and Ric Flair really enjoying the moment.
Yeah,
and even Batista too.
But even Trips, he had his moment of being in character too. Like, what?
Yeah.
Because obviously they
brought him back.
The tease between him and Batista. Batista did a good job. It was a nice reception this time.
Yeah.
From his previous returns.
It's his hometown.
Yeah, but even still, if it was his hometown and this is 2000 and what was it, 13, 14, and it's DB versus Batista, he would have gotten booed. So it was definitely a nice reception for him.
Yeah, and again, like you said, a nice little tease between him and Triple H. Apparently, they tried to set that up for WrestleMania for his last match for Batista. That's what he's been acting for. He's like, my last match has to be against Triple H.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, the seeds were definitely planted, and I would be here for it. So.
Oh, so you're good with Batista coming back? I know you're not big.
Because I didn't think he had a proper send off when he had his second run. That's why.
When he just quit on Evolution again.
Yeah.
It seems like to be his thing. Like, yo, I quit. And
yeah.
Just walk away.
It was just weird. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. To be honest with you, and Batista's not 70 years old trying to still have multiple matches where we think he's gonna retire. So.
Right. Now he's very open about what he wants.
Yeah.
So to close out SmackDown on my end, I don't know about your end. Let's talk about the cutting edge between Becky Lynch and Charlotte.
Relentless. I mean, like I said, the build to this feud has been pretty dope. It's just the matches have been lackluster for me. I feel like I think Evolution they might kill it.
I have a feeling too.
I feel like this is the first ever women's pay-per-view. This is the big one. I think they're going to kill it, especially with this stipulation. So, I mean, and Becky's killing it. Charlotte did what she had to do, just fight, you know what I mean? Because obviously a lot of people are not on her side right now. You can hear it in the crowd.
Right.
No matter what Becky does, she's getting cheered. Like, she played Edge, a whole legend, and still got cheered.
Like,
so.
And she raised the belt and was like, and everybody's like, yeah. I'm like, yo, that was kind of a don't hurt your neck stepping through the ropes. Like, yeesh.
Yeah.
Like, who's this?
Right.
Who is this in the ring?
So.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this match. Hopefully, this is the last chapter for these two, so that way they can both move on and do different things. Because it's running this course, in my opinion. I think Asuka should get a shot at Charlotte, at Becky. I think that would be a dope feud.
We'll see. What do you rate SmackDown?
I give it like a C.
Okay, I gave it a C. I'll give it a C as well.
And the people gave it a C plus.
Okay.
So we're around the same mark. All right. So the poll question for today is
NXT. What did you think about Aleister Black showing up?
I thought that was pretty dope. I feel like they gave him like more of an Undertaker feel.
Okay.
Like,
just appearing like that?
Just appearing, like they didn't play this whole song.
Yeah.
They just played like clips of his song, and then he appeared.
And I was like, oh,
right.
What's that? That's Aleister?
So I would love for him to take over, because we'll get into the hot topics later about Undertaker, but I would love for him to take Undertaker's spot since they dropped the ball with Bray Wyatt. Like, he could be the next, like, mysterious enigma, phenom-ish.
I don't see that, but it was nice to see Aleister come back, and I feel like this will probably be his last run until he gets called up. So, but it was nice to see.
Who do you think was that attacked him? Me and G was talking about this earlier.
I think Gargano.
G think the same thing.
Yeah.
I said maybe Cassius Ohno. Just to give Cassius Ohno, because he's on his like heelish thing right now.
Yeah, I don't really see them utilizing him, especially what you said that he's just there to kind of help the other talents. But and Aleister at this point doesn't need any help because whatever.
So you turning Gargano heel right now?
Mhm.
But then how's that gonna work with Ciampa? They're still in the same brand.
Well, if Velveteen and this guy, Tommaso, they face off, who knows? You might see Velveteen become the new NXT champion, and that sets up Velveteen versus Gargano. Don't know.
Oh, interesting point.
Yep.
I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Anything else happened from NXT that you wouldn't remember?
No.
Oh, yeah, NXT UK started yesterday.
Yes.
People are confused. NXT UK starts at 3 p.m. Our time. PM. Eastern time.
Yes.
And it gets replayed at 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Right.
Because, again, I was talking to G. G's like, yes, it comes out tonight at 10. I'm like, no, it happened already.
Yeah, I was talking to Astro, so I'm like, it comes on at 3 p.m. But I see the confusion on my part was, I'm like, I thought this was live.
Right.
Because they were airing it at 3 p.m. But I guess that's why they're airing it at 8 p.m. because it's for the UK people.
Right.
But it was already taped. So that was my confusion.
Yeah, they have a couple of tapes done in already. So
poll question, like you said. Go ahead.
Top 5 betrayals in WWE history.
So I'm mad that, forget top 5, where was the Montreal screw job? This is you betrayed Bret Hart. And I don't even like Bret Hart like that or Shawn Michaels like that, but that's a very...
This list was kind of like...
to add the Bellas and Ronda.
Yeah, it was blatant to see where they was going with this whole thing. For those that don't know, they put number 5, the Bellas turn on Ronda. Number 4, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho on the Festival of Friendship.
That's fine, but I feel like that's like top 10. Not even top 10, but go ahead.
Number 3 was Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. Of course, that is in top 5. Evolution turn on Randy Orton. I could see that. And number 1 was Seth Rollins turn on the Shield.
I can see that being top 5.
Top 5, but not number 1.
Yeah.
So let's put together 5 together.
All right. So we discussed that that was that. We had Montreal Screwjob. What else?
So we have Shawn on Marty, Seth Rollins on Shield, and then we said Montreal Screwjob. So that's 3. I would even say, what did I say that was very good?
I even mentioned Enzo, Enzo and Big Cat.
Yeah, that should have been included in there.
I wouldn't say it was top, but that was.
It was better than Ronda turning, the Bellas turning on Ronda.
Because there was history there.
Like, it's so many others. What did I say? We even said DIY.
Yeah.
Turn on each other. That's
couple of times when whatchamacallit, Eddie turned on
Chavo.
I was gonna say Ray, but yeah.
Like, yeah, even that. It was so many others. What did I say?
See, that's why you gotta put your notes.
I remembered it and then I forgot it.
Gotta put your notes, buddy.
But you don't remember yours.
I didn't really give you a top 5. I just said whatever.
I said, you said Marshall Screw Job. I'll give you that. When Triple H turned on HBK.
Boom, that's a big one. That is definitely a big one.
When Shawn first came back.
Yeah.
And, they would both get messed around with, and Triple H, like, giving the brown people back. I remember this so vividly. Like, hey, we gotta mess with them back. Put this on. And they came out with the music, everything. Everybody's all suit.
We put it in our thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and it's let's get ready to say it, and then get a pedigree out of nowhere. Like, I was still stuck in. I'm like, oh, what just happened? What are we doing?
Yeah. So I mean, I noticed with these polls, like at this point, and I think everyone notices it, that the WWE is trying to push a feud, and it's just not right.
Right.
Let history play itself and play out the way it should be. You can't force an issue. Yeah, okay, they turned on her, but come on.
Yeah,
it didn't belong there. They know years from now when they have the next storyline of someone betraying someone, this is not gonna even be included. So let's stop it. You at this point they think like us fans are that mindless and don't remember certain things. Like, come on.
And I think that's what's kind of bugging us about WWE in general. Like, they're insulting our intelligence with a lot of this product stuff.
It's just constantly it's always just like what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, we know that this didn't happen or this happened, like, but whatever.
But yeah, so we have a pull up on our Instagram now. Tell us your most favorite moments of biggest betrayal. And we'll post throughout the week.
Hot topics.
Triple H believes that Vince McMahon has never watched a full episode of NXT. I believe it.
I believe it too. And so the irony is former WWE writer Tom Casellia, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, says this is completely false, that he's been with Vince in gorilla position at an NXT show. But he was so quick to defend Vince, and it was just like, okay, you might have been there for TakeOver, but let's keep it 100. I doubt Vince is in Orlando at Full Sail watching a live recording of NXT. One, two's probably not even watching it when it airs. Like Triple H said, he's super busy,
right?
And it's not Vince's product. So,
and again, it's not tampered with as much, because I'm pretty sure if Vince watched the full episode, he'd be like, all right, I don't like this, we're gonna switch this around, and,
exactly. And and I don't think this surprises anyone, right?
It doesn't,
because if he actually watched like episodes, then he would know, okay, well, yeah, this was the person to push, and this is the person to push, and what
this tag team really killed it on NXT, and
right. So, and it's unfortunate because it goes back to like someone that doesn't want to evolve, exactly, right? It's just, I'm gonna be stuck in my ways. It's quote unquote worked all these years,
right?
So I'm gonna keep doing it the way I want it, and that's it.
Yeah, until somebody comes up, but I'll talk about that later in the hot topics. And again, I'll trust Triple H over a writer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's Triple H. Like, Triple H would know who's watching his product,
right?
So like, it was no need for dude to come out of nowhere. This is complete.
Yeah, okay.
Relax.
After Mike and Maria Kanellis moved to 205 Live, Ringside News report that Zack Ryder might be the next one to go to 205 Live. How do you feel about that?
Zack Ryder needs something to do. They've been playing this guy for years. He got himself over as the Internet champion, and he had that small little push and a couple of storylines.
Yeah.
But it's just someone that they can just, not that they couldn't get over, they choose not to get over. So
right.
This gives him something to do. Let's try it out.
Why do you think they always not want to use Zack Ryder or Ty Dillinger or so many others that we could think of that should have like at least got something. Tyler Breeze.
It just goes back down to one, like you said. First of all, Vince not watching NXT, so a couple of those superstars that are down there that was killing it, you don't see their potential.
Right.
And I don't know. I was gonna say they don't necessarily push people that got themselves over, but I'm like, well, Leo Rush is getting himself over, and y'all definitely behind it. So I really don't know. And I know that everyone can't be pushed at the same time, but
push them within their boundaries.
Yeah, and see if it works. Give them a legitimate storyline and what have you. If it works, you move on. If it doesn't, they're back of the line until you try something else. Like, there's no reason to have so much talent, but you're not utilizing.
What happened to Mojo Riley?
They were giving him a nice little whatever.
That's what I'm saying. It just fizzled. It just fizzled out. PW Insider reports Ivory and Molly Holly will be at Evolution pay-per-view, most likely in the Battle Royal.
This is just, okay, Royal Rumble. Now there's no, because Royal Rumble, there's a stipulation. I don't have anything for you. I don't. Whatever.
I mean, I asked to see these girls, so.
You did, and now you're getting them in Battle Royal.
I didn't want them in the Battle Royal. I wanted them to have an actual match. If you're going to bring anybody back to have matches, I think those two could. Because Ivory was training with the NXT people for a while, so I'm pretty sure that she can hold her own.
Yeah.
But Chris Jericho was not invited to SmackDown 1000.
That's crazy.
Possible heat with the company because of what he's been doing in the past couple of weeks.
I mean, but Rey Mysterio's been out here with a couple of other companies, so I don't know.
I think it's because he's the current IWGP Intercontinental Champion in New Japan. They don't want to bring, somebody else's champion onto their screen.
Yeah.
And then, two, he's been talking very loud about going to TNA. Rey Mysterio never really talked about going to TNA. He's been doing, like, lucha stuff, went to Japan, and showed up where he just showed up.
Yeah.
But Chris Jericho got them on the cruise and everything, so.
Yeah, but, I mean, it sucks. Was Chris Jericho really had a prominent role on Raw? I mean, SmackDown?
I think he did. That's why I was, like, trying to think, like, did he really have, like, a big role on SmackDown?
I was mad.
Why?
Rock wasn't there.
Oh, yeah.
Just a tweet.
He sent the tweet out. Yeah, that's kind of... A lot of people was missing from SmackDown 1000, wasn't there?
Whatever. Like, I just whatever.
In a recent interview with comicbook.com, Charlotte Flair feels honored being compared to Roman Reigns. I feel like, first of all, we should give you props.
Me?
Yeah, I think that I'm giving you props because you're my tag team partner.
Thank you.
You was probably the first person I heard. Not probably. You were the first person to bring this comparison that brought the light to me.
Yeah. Now we talking about it.
And I feel like everybody just heard this and they ran with it. But to feel honored to be compared.
You heard it here first.
Right. By Miss Jenna, baby.
The big dog.
There you go.
Boss time.
Okay,
now I'm doing his most. Okay.
But yeah, so she feels honored being compared to Roman Reigns.
So how can I put this?
Because he headlined WrestleManias and so on and so forth.
I don't see anything wrong with being compared to Roman. I still think Roman is a decent superstar, but I wouldn't feel honored the fact that you're overpushed when there's other people that deserve to be pushed.
Right.
So, okay, yeah, he's a pretty good talent, but it's not fair that you're getting pushed for whatever reason. Because what happened, let's say at Evolution, Charlotte loses, but she's going to win the title, and then who she's facing off with. And if she loses, then we fast forward to Royal Rumble, and she wins, and then, it's getting annoying. Same way the whole situation with Roman is annoying. This is annoying.
And she's favored to win the Royal Rumble this year.
Like I just mentioned. So it's just it's not cool. You know what I mean?
This is not something to be honored by.
Exactly.
So
speaking of Charlotte, apparently she is getting sued. Her father and the WWE are being sued by her ex-husband due to a couple of comments made in her book. Any comments about that? No.
I don't think he's gonna win anything.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say detrimental to your character, but I think he has a record of being arrested for that kind of stuff
and
or
is that not
reported.
Is that not her life? Did that
not
happen? I'm gonna talk about my life. So
Yeah, you can't stop me from talking about my life.
Right.
He's reaching.
Right.
He's reaching for a settlement.
Alrighty. WWE removes Saudi.
Don't you want to say that for last? Is that goes into our debate?
Yeah, I didn't delete it off of my. I have it twice.
Oh,
Gotcha.
dun dun
Dun dun dun. Variety reports. Mr. Cena Nation himself, You Can't See Me, is going to play in another movie called Playing with Fire. He had a meet and greet. A couple of people got to see him.
Really?
Yes.
Where?
I think in somewhere
In China?
Maryland. No, it was like Maryland, D.C., somewhere. Yeah.
He did? He's supposed to be in China for the next month.
Shout out to Saeed because apparently I don't shout him out and he whatever. So, but he actually went to go see his idol, which is John Cena.
Oh, he did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
So now he's getting into a new movie. Does that really mean that he's going to stay further away from wrestling? I just go back to when he was talking all that crap about
all that caca
about The Rock.
Dwayne, yeah. Well,
and now you're trying to follow his footsteps.
Whatever. I'm indifferent about it.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What I mean? I'm indifferent. I don't really care. Like
Okay.
he's gone. He comes back. Like I said, he doesn't bother me anymore. So, so if he comes back, great. If he doesn't, okay.
As long as he's not burying our favorites, come back whenever you want to. Do 5 moves and then
6
moves now, and get your W and walk away for sure. But as long as you stay away from my favorites.
So rumor has it Undertaker and Batista will be heading to the Hall of Fame next year, and finally, the Undertaker will officially retire.
I hope this is not a swerve because last time they said he was done. I saved all this crap.
I don't know.
And started planning to get it, put in cases. I saved my ticket, bought a shirt. I was going to put it together like I was there. I cried tears.
Yeah.
I cried real tears.
Yeah.
Because that was the first person I saw wrestle. And I'm like, I was there for his last match. Yeah. And you pulled it away from me and you hurt my feelings.
I just feel like at this point, Taker, you're always going to love Taker. He's a legend. But I just feel like the ending of his career it's tarnished.
Yeah, it ran its course.
It's ran its course. It's tarnished. It was cool a couple of times when he lost his streak the first time, and then Roman supposedly retired him, and then it was just, for me, again, that's what I said. It should have ended there, but whatever. You gotta milk. He's a cash cow. You gotta milk it, right?
I guess.
Raw viewership rating went up, the highest in the past 4 weeks. Not
boss time.
I ain't want to say it,
but I mean, correlation to that, yeah, because
I don't believe in coincidences. So
nothing's changed in regards to who's coming out on Raw, except for
boss time.
I think that definitely helped.
Yeah, I think so too.
But what do I know? She's not the face of the women's division. It's preposterous.
And I heard that Smackdown 1000 beat Raw, even though the ratings went up.
Well, I mean, that was a given, right? Just because that's a big episode. You had all the legends that came out and what have you. And plus, it's a better product right now. So
I'm sad it wasn't 3 hours, though, to be honest.
It should have been. But what else were they going to fit in there? Maybe more matches? I don't know.
I would have liked to seen APA.
That would have been nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like, add a little bit more stuff to remember SmackDown.
I mean,
feel like they rushed it. I just feel like
there's
they
a lot
rushed
of things. I mean, honestly, it would have been nice to see Cena actually come and do Dr. Thugonomics.
Right.
Right? But he's doing his whole Dwayne Johnson thing.
I mean, I heard they was trying very hard to get him to come out, and the movie people was just like, nah, you used them a week ago. A week ago. Tweaking.
Shane McMahon was asked on a recent podcast interview on Opie Radio that apparently there was a storyline that Vince McMahon, his father, had to emphasize that they wanted to do an incest, yes, I said incest angle with his sister, Stephanie McMahon. Shane responds with, well, my sister's hot. I don't know if I would have really mind that.
First of all, it's not the first time I heard about this supposed storyline. And
this family is something about them.
It curved me because it was like she responds like, "Well, my sister is hot." I'm like, "Well, I'm okay. You complimented your sister," and he's like, "I don't think I really mind that." I'm like,
Well, I don't know
it
if
kind
you
of
actually,
turned me over. Like, wait,
if you
what?
actually listen to the clip, there was kind of like a sarcastic kind of undertone.
Okay,
But it's still weird to say.
right? Because again, reading it, I'm like, when I first read it, I was like, okay, he gave comment to his sister, and then I wouldn't mind that. What?
Yeah.
So I guess it's one of the things you had to be there.
Yeah. I don't know, but
Ugh.
it was weird. And what's this guy's name? Bruce Pritchard. He's actually was like, "Nah, we can't do this. We can't do this. This is too much.
This is too much."
Yeah.
And
So
shout out to Bruce because he probably saved them from a lot of like.
that would have been terrible.
Yeesh. The Elite members have made an announcement on Twitter and Instagram.
That their Bullet Club style shirts will be the last one ever made, which
Sparked.
I bought that. That
Yeah, books.
Young Bucks one is fire with the gold.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So I definitely bought it.
It sparked a lot of rumors that okay, maybe they are leaving Bullet Club.
But you have another theory.
Yeah, maybe they're going to WWE. And then
Who unsent me a message on Instagram?
Sliding them DMs.
And then unsent it to me like, damn, give me a chance to read.
Nah, they felt they second guess they approach. They want to come back another way.
I guess so.
Sliding.
I guess.
At Miss Jenna Baby BAYBEE.
Wow.
Before I go into my theory, but then Finn Balor and somebody Carl Anderson, I think, wished Tama Tonga a happy birthday on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And Tonga responded with, some PC members are heading your way. I need you to take care of that kind of situation.
Well, no, don't forget what they did to you.
For Finn Balor, who's like, don't forget what they did to you.
Yes.
To Carl Anderson,
Prince.
he said to Carl Anderson, he was like, I got some couple of ex-members coming, handle that.
Yeah.
I think he's playing too much into it. They're not leaving. And just the way they're saying
They're gonna be the
Bullet Club style shirt. I think they're gonna come up with some different styles for the Bullet Club member logo. And they're gonna stay.
Are they gonna stay Bullet Club, or is they're gonna venture off and be the Elite? Because if you watch Being the Elite, like you said, and I've watched, you have a couple of things alluding to possibly, hey, for Royal Rumble, show up or have a match with AJ.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that they're putting in there, and the whole TikTok thing.
Yeah.
With the clock. Oh no.
I give it 3% to go to WWE just so I feel like they could just say we warned you.
Yeah.
And this is what happened.
I don't see them moving to WWE.
I don't think they're leaving. I think I
The
see
only
more
person
so
is Marty.
Yeah. The only person that's leaving is Marty. Because he's ready to move to Orlando. His his girlfriend is already in NXT and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that either they're gonna go full D Elite or Ring of Honor is about to pull a major move and become the next WCW. And this is what I want to go to is now WWE is gonna have competition because I don't see them going to the E before this Madison Square Garden show.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Like they're not gonna leave them stranded for that
if
show.
someone throws you a lot of money, do you do it?
There's too much loyalty to Ring of Honor, and two, Cody.
I understand, but if someone throws you, you're loyal. You're loyal to this podcast, right?
Right.
And someone says, "Blue, you know what? You're doing a great job on the show. However, I'm gonna throw you, let's say, 6 figures. Are you leaving the mixed tag show?"
Nah, I can't. This is my baby. Like this is. You know what I'm saying?
I understand, but this is what you worked hard to. At the end of the day, let's not front. I bet you the ultimate goal for a lot of these wrestlers is to end up in the WWE.
Right.
Right. So now if it's a situation where like, yo, I'm gonna throw you all this money and you potentially all these storylines. This is what we're gonna do for you. I don't know.
The only reason why I say no, they wouldn't do it is because they know that they'll always come back to them. This is not the first time Vince has approached them.
Yeah, but I know there's been talks
not
for
gonna be
a
the
while
last.
that the Young Bucks, been wanting to like lessen their schedule and what have you. So you just don't know.
WWE is not lessening their schedule. WWE's schedule is
Young
worse.
Bucks, the Young Bucks is what I'm saying.
I know.
So if you're saying that they'll come back around to offering them, at that point the Young Bucks might be done.
Now they'll probably do an extra year, but again, to me, I don't think they're gonna go now. I don't think they're gonna leave Ring of Honor like that. Their pride is in there. Plus, Cody is not ready to go back to WWE no time soon. And whatever decision they're making, all 5 of them is gonna do it together. I already heard that Adam Page already turned them down. That was the first person they reached out to.
So we'll see. So speaking of Bruce Pritchard, earlier we mentioned him. he discussed on his podcast that SmackDown was actually supposed to be almost an all-female show. It was discussed numerous times throughout the years, but ultimately they decided against it just because there wasn't enough talent. How do you feel about that?
This is my first time ever hearing this, of course. I think it would have been dope to have all. Well, at that time, I don't know.
Well,
during what time is this?
They didn't really mention at the time it was discussed. But I'm old school, right?
Right.
I just remember you had Raw, boom, boom, boom. They discussed whatever storylines, and it continued on to SmackDown.
Right.
Obviously, the roster is much bigger now, so you can't really have those storylines continue on to the next show. But we mentioned a few weeks ago about the women possibly having their own show.
Right.
I'm still in favor at this point of them having their own show because they're not getting the time they need on Raw or SmackDown. So I don't mind them having an additional show as long as you don't completely take them off the shows, but they have another show that they can really continue storylines.
Yeah, that'd be kind of weird just to have an all-man show and an all-women show. It's just weird.
Yeah.
If you gave them like something where NXT and main roster could interact in, I'm all for it. As long as you don't take them off those respective brands as well. Because again, like you said, they don't get enough time to develop their stories. Yeah, it depends on the time when this was planned about. But you mentioned something I forgot to put in here, and I didn't see during the day. They're planning to merge the rosters again for next year's Fox.
I saw that. Yeah.
What do you think? Like,
again, I'm old school. I love back in the day, like
right.
I just mentioned, Raw and then SmackDown. But
the roster's too big for that.
It's too big at this point, and just the writing is really bad on one show, and then the combined. I don't know.
If you're gonna take SmackDown's writers and just carry them through everything, maybe.
Yeah.
Because even then, you have too much a bigger roster. So now, what do? You bring down the seasons,
and then it's just gonna be another excuse. Okay, we're not gonna show the women. We're not gonna show tag teams. We're not gonna do this. I don't know. But again, SmackDown going to Fox, and now quote unquote, it might be the flagship show. They're probably gonna do something like that.
Does that mean Vince is gonna be there too? No, because Vince is getting ready for XFL.
Well, Vince is there regardless on both shows, but you just have different writers on different shows. Like you said, Triple H has more
sprinkle
in SmackDown.
Yeah.
Speaking of the women, so we discussed Evolution that there was a battle royal included into the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So as of right now, we have Tori Wilson. Wow. Asuka, Randy Mose.
What?
Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, aka Absolution, Lana, Carmella, Naomi, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, the Iconics, Ember Moon, Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, Alicia Fox, and Tamina.
And maybe Molly Holly and Ivory.
We'll see, but that hasn't been mentioned. So, a couple of women made some shady comments on Twitter. I don't know if you peeped that. Carmella put a gif what?
Right.
And then Naomi said, well, I was the first ever to win the historic women's battle royal at WrestleMania. And now this. So if I win this, do I get 2 opportunities?
And she never got her trophy.
Never got her trophy. And again, like we mentioned earlier and have been mentioning, they've ruined Evolution at this point. I'm highly disappointed.
Yeah.
Highly disappointed. And I love how we didn't talk about it this much this week because SmackDown 1000 took away from that.
Right.
But you still didn't really focus on the women. Actually,
they had one segment. Not even a match.
Not a match. Segment, and then you had Carmella showed up earlier in the show. Evolution's now 2 weeks away. Next week,
sorry, 1 week away. Basically, because you don't have no shows till Monday and Thursday and Tuesday.
So
1 week.
Well, 2 weeks. Next Sunday and then the following Sunday. 2 weeks.
No, I'm talking about for them to do stuff. So.
Oh, well, yeah. So
you have 1 week left.
But on that note, I'm not happy. I'm really not happy with the way this is turning out. I'm happy my favorite's back, so I get at least to get to see her. But you know what I mean.
Boss time.
Okay, and then you have people like we don't even know if Zelina's gonna show up, right? That's someone that should be in the battle royal, right?
Right.
And we don't know what they're doing with her, and that just
And I mentioned to you they're pulling out NXT girls apparently from the show.
Yeah.
As much as they said they was going to use them, but
Yeah. We kind of had a debate. Like I said, I didn't mind that, just because I felt that essentially this should have been a main roster event.
right.
Right? I felt that okay, if you really want to make an event, have NXT take over the women's superstars. Have them do Saturday, right? Because you don't have that many matches anyway on Takeover.
Right.
So what is it that you have a couple of women matches there, and even if you can have the NXT
UK.
exactly, and then focus on the actual women that's on the main roster. I guess pass if you want to, and
But
present.
They knew that NXT was going to outshine Evolution.
So what? I mean, at this point, we already know what it is. It's like whatever, and it's another event where you can make money.
Right.
Is that what the ultimately the goal is?
Right.
So
yeah.
I honestly I was in favor. I don't mind the NXT women not being on the main roster on Evolution pay per view.
Only reason why I had a big beef is about because they mentioned it, like, we're going to use every woman from every brand, and, that's what Michael Cole said soon after Stephanie made her announcement. So it's like, all right, that's how I was souped about. Like, all right, all the women's going to get together. We're going to see some amazing show.
I wasn't souped about it.
Like, but...
I wasn't...
Because you know what it is with the main roster? I knew that they was going to pull something like this. If it was just the main roster, it would focus around...
But that's my thing. With they announcing that it's all over 50 women. So right there, you're diluting the show, right? Because you just let's cram all the women into one show. We knew what was going to happen. You weren't going to develop storylines. It was just going to be a battle royal, mad tag team matches, and a couple of the women's championship matches, and call it a day, right? So that's why when they said all 50, I was like, okay. Royal Rumble, we had 30 women. We were good. We saw who we needed to see. So why are we doing this again? I said from jump, yo, if you want to bring the women from the past, the Hall of Famers, have them in backstage segments, or even revisit revisit a feud or whatever. But so I'm like, yo, whatever. So on that note, right, because obviously this has been pushed aside for another pay-per-view that's happening right afterwards, Crown Jewel. WWE is catching a lot of heat, right? This is even getting media coverage, right, about them continuing this pay-per-view, this event at Saudi Arabia, because we're not going to get into it, but there's a lot of controversy that's going on in that country.
Yeah.
All right. So we saw that Saudi Arabia was actually removed from like the promotional graphics, and a lot of people are protesting for them not to go there.
Yeah.
And to actually boycott the pay-per-view.
Yep.
And a lot of wrestlers are voicing that they don't want to go.
Exactly.
So that leads us to our final debate question. Was this...
So the statement got... Wait, what's their statement? Oh, yeah. The statement was, as always, the WWE released a statement concerning what the WWE superstars not wanting to go and stuff like that. They said, as always, we will maintain an open line of communication with our performers, and as we continue to monitor the situation.
So that leads us to our debate question. Do you think that this was a bad deal, the WWE and Saudi Arabia?
I don't think it was a bad deal to start with, but with the recent events, it's something that you have to look at and like, all right, we can't go. Because if this is the case where the government and senators are telling you not to go, and then now even the UFC has canceled their show from over there, now you look money hungry trying to go over there and complete this. But then this is why I think they took the name Saudi Arabia off, because it gives them a room to call an audible and hold the event somewhere else if they're not going to go over there. So, yes, it's a bad move now because of what's happening.
Well, I thought it was a bad deal from jump, just because, yes, I understand. It goes back to it being a marketing ploy. You're trying to be like the leaders and make this diverse, but it on the flip side, it's not diverse because the women wasn't included. So you already shot yourself in the foot with that, right? The first pay-per-view wasn't that good, right? And you took, like, Royal Rumble is one of the four, now big five, right? So then you call another pay-per-view the greatest Royal Rumble. Like, for me, that takes the prestige away from the Royal Rumble once you called it that. And when you actually watched the show, it was like the crowd wasn't into it, so that's another thing. It just, when we first found out this was going to be a 10-year deal or what have you, it just came off as being money hungry.
Right.
And at the end of the day, money isn't everything, right? Like, I know that's crazy to say. Yeah. But now look at the situation. This is not getting any better. You know, we got one hand, people are like, yo, you're not promoting evolution. This is a historic event.
Right.
And then you got controversy, you know, politically happening in this nation, and you're in the middle of it.
Right.
And how do you get out of it? Because, okay, you get out of it, but you still have a contract with, you know what I mean?
Right.
And if you have all this is going on, that's not good for you.
Yeah.
Because now you're putting a lot of people in danger.
Yeah, you put a lot of people in danger, and also you don't look very patriotic towards your country. And to add on that show, yes, it looked weak. The sad thing about that is that the show is not as terrible, but the crowd reactions that did happen were not on TV because the royal family was about the thing, and a couple of wrestlers talked about it. I think Chris Jericho was. And he said it's because the royal family was ringside and they're sitting on couches. And they're the one that paid for this because they have money to spend. So all the people fans that really wanted to see it were putting behind. So you couldn't feel their energy. Yeah. And that threw off the performers.
I mean, but that goes back to a lot like just sporting events in general. Like, for example, Yankee Stadium, right?
Right.
In the old Yankee Stadium, when the prices weren't jacked up, you had the rabid, hardcore, diehard fans. And when the Yankees were in, like, the postseason, like, you felt that energy. Now, as opposed to in the new Yankee Stadium, you still have those fans, but now you have what they call the legend field, whatever. Right. Just because those are where people who spend money, and then they cater to those people
behind
that spend
home plate.
Exactly.
And all that.
So I think that's just any event in general, especially like when you see. I mean, basketball and football events are always going to have more energy too, but it's the same thing. The regular fans can't be up front because celebrities are paying for that, or unless you have season, tickets or
whatever. Or you buy some Washington Wizards tickets.
So that's just the name of the game, and I don't think that doesn't change just because of you have a royal family that paid for all this, whatever. But at the end of the day, I've always thought this wasn't the greatest deal, and now it's playing out that way.
Well, WWE is just trying to. I feel like you said, the 10-year deal. They're trying to be.
That's 10 years, though.
They're trying to be the catalyst and, trying to change Saudi Arabia to accept more women, and they're trying to be the change. You know how they're trying to change the world.
But the thing is, they didn't do anything. So they haven't shown anything where you're changing the world. On top of that, it goes back down to what we've been saying about this World Cup. You have 8 Americans. Yes, you have Rey Mysterio, but he is a Mexican American.
He's repping 619.
He got Mexican tatted on him, but he's also rep 619. So he's still American because he was born here. So, I wanted to see Ray win, but we're gonna make this a World Cup. Shinsuke should have won, right?
Right.
So
Rusev should have won.
Rusev should have won. So what? Drew should have won. So what is it that we're really showing that we're the leaders?
That's a good point. Why did they let Drew win? Why did they let Ziggler win, but not Drew?
I mean, I guess it showed that Drew had to do his little turn or this friction in the group. But with all that said, it's not a World Cup, and you're not showing that you're the leaders of change, of diversity with these two different things, with women not being there and a World Cup featuring 8 Americans. But what do I know?
Most of them are like almost legend status. So
John Cena was just put in there just to be
right. So. He just kicked it off, and you got Rey Mysterio, you got Randy Orton, you got
Kurt Angle,
Jeff Hardy, like legend status.
It's gonna be a slow match because you have a lot of older heads. Anyway, that's our show because I think we ran its course.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. That was weird. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know what it is? Like we keep saying, WWE is not exciting right now.
It's not.
So it's kind of hard to
come every week, just like try to pick at what we can discuss.
Right, and like trying to find what we like, and it just comes out to us. Just sounds like we're just complaining the entire show.
And I still love WWE.
I love them.
We're always gonna have a soft spot, and just
we want to see you do good,
but you gotta do right. Anyway, that's our show. Follow us at our page on the Mixed Tag Show on all social medias. Follow us at
Blue Magic Grind, or at Miss Jenna Babies, BAYBEE.
If you're going to buy merch, use our link. It's 2 clicks. Boom, boom. And on that note,
look out for another announcement. For those that want to support us, we'll have another platform for you guys. So look out for that as well.
And go ahead.
And on that note,
Whoa.
I bid you adieu. Good night. Goodbye. Mwah. And good night.
Bang. And bang.
We'll work on that.
It's the Mixtag Show. With Jenna and Blue.